Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. John Kerry, the big winner in Iowa. We'll talk about that and local politics. And he's got the rundown.
Sam, last week Attorney General Brian Sandoval was in Washington, D.C. fighting against Yucca Mountain nuclear waste. Did we win? We'll find out when we talk to him and ask him about that opinion on the Board of Regents. Then we talk to the principals of Vidler Water, Dorothy Timian-Palmer and Stephen Hartman. Sam?
And coming up on the Power Pundit panel today, Don Carlson, Keith Lee, and Martha Gould. It's all coming up next on the all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by Charter Communication.
The Aboud family has an appetite for dialogue. Agree or disagree, have the conversation. All opinions are welcome. Since 1977, Adele's.
Catch a straight, dine at 8, lucky you. Lucky you. Dance till 1, have some fun, lucky you. Lucky you. Taste the shrimp, have a sip, try the pool, play it cool. At the Sienna Hotel Spa Casino, lucky you.
In business, the key to success is not the quantity of your clients, it's the quality of your clients. Almost all companies will tell you they want more sales, but what they really need are quality customers who pay their bills on time. With Employer Link's client vendor screening program, we provide comprehensive reports regarding the financial performance of your corporate prospects, customers, and vendors. Build your business with great clients and vendors. Call Employer Links today at 883-3733.
If you own a business and want to maximize your company's potential, join the Retail Association of Nevada. Our membership benefits include the Nevada Retail Network Self-Insured Group, providing workers' compensation coverage that can lower your rates. That savings can go directly to your bottom line. We are an effective pro-business organization that lobbies on behalf of our business members. The Retail Association of Nevada, protecting Nevada businesses for 35 years. Call 882-1700 to see what we can do for your organization.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad, political analyst Ande Engleman on No Holds Barred Political Forum. Now, from the News 4 Broadcast Center, here's Sam Shad.
And welcome back to Nevada Newsmakers. Our guest today for the first part of the show is Attorney General Brian Sandoval. Today, at least, Andy's hero.
Well, that had to do. All right, we'll go to that first. You issued an opinion and filed charges against the Board of Regents last week concerning Nevada's open meeting law. I counted, if you go to each individual instance of each person, about 23 violations of Nevada's open meeting law altogether. What in this whole thing amazed you the most about the Board of Regents' actions?
Well, you know, we've done a thorough review, obviously, and just that there's been a history, as we've talked about before on this show, and there's come a point where, you know, there's got to be a strict enforcement of the law, and that's what we're going to do. Our office is charged with the responsibility of strictly enforcing and liberally construing the law, and we intend to be very aggressive in this case.
Okay, what kind of punishment can be looked at? I guess you're not looking at individuals, but as the board as a whole. So what would you try to get a fine on the Board of Regents?
Well, the law does not provide for that. Essentially what we're seeking to do is have what was done improperly undone, and so for them to start over again.
Well, the law does find that a violation of the law is a misdemeanor.
It could be, under certain circumstances, which is a criminal violation, is a misdemeanor, and we're not seeking that in our complaint because, again, there are differently situated individuals, and it's very difficult to prove criminal intent in a situation like this.
But where you have a body that repeatedly violates the law and more or less gives its finger to the people of the state of Nevada and to basically the Attorney General's office, Attorney Ayers was reported to have said afterwards that your opinion counted no more than a blank piece of paper.
Yeah, now we got a good laugh out of that. But you know, certainly it's discouraging and very disappointing to me to see a disrespect for the law, a disrespect for the process, and a disrespect for the judicial system and the process that
a lot of
we
regions
have.
keep complaining about the fact that their attorney tells them it's okay, so therefore they do it. You got any advice for them about their attorney?
Well, you know, they have their own individual attorneys. Some people have thought that our office is responsible for providing legal advice to the Board of Regents. We have absolutely nothing to do with that. What we would hope is that in the future, because even one of the regents said that he had never even opened the open meeting law manual. So we'd like to give them some training after this is all done, so that not only their legal counsel and the board members can be properly educated with regard to the open meeting law.
But Brian, if there's no real punishment, what's going to help people to feel they really should honor this law and follow it?
Well, you know, the law is the law, and we can only enforce what it provides within the Nevada statutory framework. Certainly, I think this is a prime example that will allow us to go to the next session of the legislature to seek stricter enforcement provisions and penal provisions within the law, and that's something that we are absolutely going to do.
Okay, let's change gears here and talk about Yucca Mountain. You went to fight the good fight. How are we doing?
We're doing great. Now, you know, certainly we had the 6 different cases that have been consolidated. We did well on some, not as well on others, but I'll talk about the real positive one, our EPA case. Essentially, Congress had told the Department of Energy and the EPA that they had to adopt a standard that was in conformance with the National Academy of Science. The National Academy of Science came up with a standard that it needed to be safe for 300,000 years. The EPA adopted a standard that was only good for 10,000 years, which obviously that's not even close. So the judges, and one of the words that the judges used at the hearing was, "I am astonished of your failure to respect the Congress and its charge." So we feel really good about that case, and what it will do if we succeed at it is that they'll have to go back, adopt that 300,000 year standard, and Yucca Mountain can't meet it. It just can't meet it. So we're real positive about it. Some of the other cases we did not do as well, and the judges were hard on us, but we definitely moved the ball forward. We are in a much better position than we were before.
Okay, now you expect these opinions to come out next summer?
I think they'll be a little bit earlier. We were very, very pleased with the court and its depth of questioning and its preparation for these hearings. That, I think, is a signal that they've put a lot of thought into this case already, so we're hopeful that we will have it late spring or early summer.
Okay, let me ask you this. Is there a point where Congress can rethink this and come up with different rules and regulations that would negate? Because, you know, when I hear 10,000 years and 300,000 years and all these numbers, you know, there's...
It's not your lifetime, right?
You know, I mean, it's almost goofy, if you pardon my saying so. No offense to you. But could Congress come back and say, okay, this doesn't matter, we're going to change the rules, and now, you know, we'll go to the 10,000 years, we think we've got that already taken care of, we're done?
Okay, 2 responses. First, you know, with regard to Congress, that's one of the hearts of our case, is that Congress set a standard. When they found that Yucca Mountain couldn't meet it, that's when they changed all the rules, and that's the heart of our constitutional case, which is that there's one standard for Nevada, there's another standard for the other 49 states. So, you know, obviously we feel that is inappropriate. Congress can do what it wants. I mean, it can come back and try to change the law. But you know, when you talk about this 10,000, 300,000, it is hard to focus on that in a human context. But when you put it in a geologic context and you put it in a radiation danger context, it's very, very easy to predict that. And we have a responsibility to protect the future generations of our state. We also have scientists who have said that those engineered barriers, those canisters, could fail within 30 years. Wow. So that's when it does affect us. And so we're being very aggressive. We're
just about out of time. I want to ask you one last question. Now, when you get back these decisions on the cases where you lose, will you appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court?
Well, we'll evaluate the language. It depends on the language of the court, but certainly we are going to exhaust every legal remedy that we have. I mean, it's one of those situations now, I know too much, and I'm very, familiar with this case, and I am not going to put the people of our state at risk. So yes, we will exhaust every legal remedy that we have.
Attorney General Brian Sandoval, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. And I will be here in 300,000 years because I'm booked. We'll be right back after this.
Atlantis is cooking up a party. It's every diner's paradise. Toucan Charlie's Buffet and Grill, voted Reno's best buffet by locals year after year. Experience the Mongolian barbecue, new Asian station, and sumptuous exhibition stations filled with fresh entrees, salads, and desserts. Try the Friday night seafood buffet and Sunday champagne brunch.
Would you like to savor a Trento pork chop? Or maybe pasta rags with grilled chicken? Hugo's Tuscan Grill at D'Andrea is a celebration of color, flavor, and freshness. Each dish is created from natural, wholesome foods that is delicious and nutritious. Hugo's is a comfortable restaurant with breathtaking city views. If you enjoy great food and good company, visit us here at Hugo's. It's the best that dining can be. 2900 South D'Andrea Parkway in Sparks.
I ordered this beef broccoli here at Harris Buffet in Reno, and it was here in less than 60 seconds. What's up with that, Dave?
Sam, that's one of 20 dishes that we guarantee fast, guarantee fresh, made to order 7 days a week at Harris Reno's Buffet.
And I understand that just for this month, a 2-for-1 special just by showing your Nevada ID.
That's correct. We want to invite all of our Nevada residents to come down and experience this great buffet. We guarantee you a fresh, quality meal.
It's fast, it's delicious, and it's 2-for-1 at Harris Buffet.
To experience the royal cuisine of India, you need some serious magic or simply transport yourself to India Garden, right here in Reno, where you'll discover Indian specialties refined over centuries. Sikh kebab, tandoori dishes cooked in our own tandoor oven, biryani specialties, curries, fresh-baked Indian bread, over a dozen vegetarian dishes, even dishes rare to India like dosa, South Indian-style crepes. India Garden off South Virginia near Sports West. We are India.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad and Ande Engleman.
Back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're joined by Dorothy Timian-Palmer. She's a professional engineer, and she's the CEO of the Vidla Water Company. And I remember about 13 years ago, I was doing a radio show, and I did an hour-long interview with Franklin Jeans about Fish Springs Ranch and its water, and it was going to be brought to Reno and used in the North Valleys. And boy, during that period of time, all heck broke loose, and it got to the point where there was so much uproar that Senator Reed got in the middle of this and asked Bruce Babbitt to get involved, and he stopped the environmental impact statement, and that said, boom, we're done. And it didn't move forward. What has changed in the last 13 years?
Well, first of all, some of that was political and not
That's fine.
Scientific.
That's fine. I just dealt with what I dealt with, which was dealing with the owner of the ranch. You guys are now the owner of the ranch. What has changed in that period of time that will enable you hope, to be able to bring water to the North Valleys?
Well, it's a completely different project. Several things have changed over the last 13 years. First of all, when the project was first proposed, I don't know if the North Valleys or Truckee Meadows was ready for the water. I don't believe they needed it. Now we've come to a time in the growth of that area that the water resource is needed. The second issue is they were looking at importing about 13,000 acre-feet of water, which had some other effects on other things out in the basin, like the Pyramid Lake, the Army Depot, neighboring communities. We took a look at groundwater models before we purchased the ranch and determined that 8,000 acre-feet was the sustainable yield, where you would lessen or eliminate all those other impacts. So we scaled down the project and looked at it strictly, can we import 8,000 acre-feet and still do it economically? And the answer was yes, so we moved forward on that front. And then the third issue was that like I said before, the area was ready, and also I can't remember.
That's all right.
Well, I guess hang on. I just got a quick question.
Go ahead.
I'll let you in just a moment.
All right.
I would certainly agree with you. I think that we needed to have accounted for the water back then, quite frankly. But the fact that it's taken this amount of time and somebody else is involved now, I think is a good thing. And hopefully we can get this thing taken care of, because the North Valleys obviously do need the water to accommodate the growth that is here and going to continue to grow. But have you had conversations with the tribe? Have you had conversations with the base at Hurlong? And are they behind you in this effort now?
We've had numerous conversations with the tribe. We started talking to the tribe about the project before we purchased the project, and see what kind of hurdles we were going to have. Are they with us? We are going down the road together, and we're going to mitigate any problems that we're going to have to Pyramid Lake. So yes, we are working jointly with them, and we're going to work with them very diligently, and we're going to address all their issues. As far as the Army Depot, we worked very hard on looking at groundwater models to make sure that nothing's going to bring in that plume of contaminants, and we think we've got that covered. The third item I wanted to mention, just came back to me, is Washoe County's not funding any of this project. This project's being totally funded by private development, our company. So you've got a need for the water, you've got a better resource base, a more sustainable yield, and it's all private money.
Because last time the county threw away about $2 million.
Well, $5 million total when you counted
total.
the staff time and other resources.
All right, so let me go back a little bit. First of all, I've known Dorothy for a long time because she used to be in charge of the water in Carson City, and a lot of people will remember her from that.
Yes, they will.
She did great things for Carson City. All right, but Vidler Water Company, this is a big company. You have water interests all over the United States, right?
We have projects throughout the Southwest, large projects, larger than this project.
Right, and okay. And this project basically, first of all, the water's clean, right?
The water currently meets all federal Clean Water Act standards. We meet all standards. All it will be required at the wellhead is disinfection, no additional treatment. So yes.
Okay. So, and what part does Vidler really, Vidler's not going to build the pipeline to bring the water down, right?
Well, Vidler will.
Okay.
What we're going to look at is, first of all, Vidler doesn't want to be a utility. Once the wells are in and the pipeline is in, we want to dedicate that to the entity that's the provider. Whether that's Washoe County or Tumwa, whoever that is, we are not a utility, so we want to dedicate that. We will fund it. How we'll fund the pipeline is once the wells, once we have our EIS and the pipelines in.
Environmental impact statement.
Correct. Developers will step up and purchase water rights that will be dedicated for their development to the county or Tumwa, whoever it is, and that will make the debt service on the pipeline. Now, if the county comes in and says we'd rather just build the pipeline ourselves or Tumwa, that's great, but we are ready to finish the project. But once the pipeline's in the ground and the wells have been established, we don't want to operate. That's not what we do. We're not a utility.
Okay, I've got another question.
Okay.
About the same time as this project was first brought up, discussions of deep geologic water from the MX system that was found in the Silver State. There's a huge underground reservoir of water that currently the mines pump out at a tremendous rate, and it just goes into the Humboldt River and ends up in the Humboldt Sink. Do you have any interest in developing that further as well?
No. I haven't even looked at it. Okay. I guess if someone called me up tomorrow and said, Dorothy, would you come out and take a look at this? Maybe I'd look at it. But no, I'm where I'm supposed to be right now with the projects I have.
See, he's going to live thousands and thousands of years, so he's worried about his water in the future.
Yeah.
So
no, but you know something, I think, Andy, what's important here is that we have a growing community that is going to double in population over the next 10 to 15 years. And we have enough water to get us through with the population we have, but we need to get other resources into this area as far as water is concerned to be able to sustain the growth that is inevitable, not just from people coming here, but just the growth within the community.
Well, and there's people that don't want that because they don't want to see the area grow.
And
then you have projects like this project, Fish Springs Ranch, or the old Honey Lake project, that come on before their time, and look what happened.
Right. Yeah, and so they could have been set up by now if the timing had been different on that.
Thank you very much for being here. We appreciate you.
We want you to come back.
I want to come back.
We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers.
Before you head to Carson, take care of yourself with a visit to Tamarack Junction. Catch a hot cup of coffee and the morning news on one of our 32 TVs and enjoy the best food in South Reno. Tamarack Junction, your junction for fun. South Virginia and Amati Ranch Parkway.
The Aboud family has an appetite for dialogue. Agree or disagree, have the conversation. All opinions are welcome. Since 1977, Adele's.
Your home is an expression of all things comforting and familiar. For custom storage, you can count on California Closets to provide quality, value, and design integrity. The process is easy, combining your personal style with our organizing expertise. We care about what matters most to you, making your home functional and beautiful. California Closets, simplifying home and life since 1978. Call today for your complimentary design consultation.
sign up for Wells Fargo free checking, you get more than free checking. You get the freedom to bank when and where you want. Wells Fargo, the next stage.
Make your daily commute easy with breakfast or lunch at the Tamarack Junction. Enjoy daily specials, super fast service, and South Reno's freshest morning meals. Tamarack Junction, your junction for fun. South Virginia and Amati Ranch Parkway.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad and Ande Engleman.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers.
We're keeping
Wait
score.
a second here. Wait a second. Hold her back today. On our pundit panel today, Martha Gould, Keith Lee, and Don Carlson. And it's a pleasure to have all of you here. So the Iowa caucus is behind us. And at this point, the headline says Kerry wins the Iowa caucus. Dean is third, far behind Edwards. Any surprises there, Don?
I guess I was surprised at the defeat that organized labor took. Whether it's blue-collar or white-collar organized labor, labor got hit yesterday.
That was because they were backing Gephardt and Dean, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So labor got hurt, but what boosted Kerry ahead?
Because people listened to what he had to say, and he came across as a statesman. He talked about issues, and he talked like a statesman.
He's a man of substance.
And that's what he is. He's a man of substance. He understands how government functions on the Hill. He has great background and knowledge. He's a bona fide war hero.
And we need to give credit to John Galtney, who predicted that Kerry would win this.
I've been for Kerry all along.
Oh. Keith, do you think that the Iowans were scared that they may have liked Dean's message, but they were getting a little uncomfortable with him as a person, his outbursts, and the fact that he possibly could not win against President Bush?
I think clearly that it's been my opinion for a long time that Howard Dean does not have the timber to be a president, and I think that's come out. His sharpness, his tendency to be divisive on occasion, and I'm not sure his message took hold. I mean, I've struggled to find out really what his message is, and I think that all came to the front yesterday. And if I can pick up on something Don said, I think it's a shame that Dick Gephardt, who's been a great public servant of this country, has gone out, but he never recognized it's no longer the 1960s. If it were the 1960s, Dick Gephardt would be the Democratic nominee for president, but he hasn't. He hasn't kept up with things. And
Don, is Dean's message dead? What happens now?
Well, I think he truly has to calibrate for New Hampshire. I also think, however, the interactions between Clark and Kerry are going to become very sharp. Mm-hmm. They've already started, and I speculate that Edwards may be the one smiling most, because approximately 20% of the participants last night in Iowa were independents that registered as Democrats. And in the state of New Hampshire, 37% of the registered voters are independents, and they can, by court order, vote in the presidential primary.
That is correct.
And it'll be fascinating to see if they cluster as they did 4 years ago with McCain, or will they be dispersed.
Is Lieberman out of it, and what role does Clark play now in New Hampshire?
Well, I think, frankly, Kerry's victory yesterday in Iowa was not good news for Clark in New Hampshire.
And I agree. And I'm a New Hampshireite.
And I think Clark could become the spoiler in New Hampshire for Kerry.
That's possible, but somehow I still think Kerry is going to pull it off. The man just comes across with a solid message, and all I ever heard from Dean was, do it my way or no way.
Which one do you think would be the toughest opponent for President Bush?
Kerry.
I think a Kerry Edwards ticket would be the most formidable ticket right now against Bush.
Because Edwards could bring the South.
He could presumably bring the South. The question is, how much beyond Massachusetts could Kerry deliver from the Northeast? Could he have enough influence to bring into to New York, Pennsylvania, Ohio? Key electoral states, obviously. But I think right now that could be the strongest ticket.
But Kerry's going to have a major day February 3rd. February 3rd, there's South Carolina, Oklahoma, New Mexico, Arizona, Missouri, and North Dakota. And I'm not convinced one caucus in Iowa and one primary in New Hampshire nominates a person. And I think February 3rd is going to be a major day for the Kerry campaign.
Doesn't Edwards suffer from problems, either as the candidate with his lack of experience? I mean, he's in his first senatorial term, he hasn't even completed that yet, and match him against Bush, or even match him as vice president against Cheney. Doesn't Edwards have all kinds of problems?
Well, with all due respect to Martha, I think the campaign in Iowa ended up to be one about tone, style, and approach, and not policy. And I think much of American presidential politics is about tone, style, and approach.
That's correct.
And I think Mr. Edwards has been positioned to accentuate his strong suit, and he has a wonderful style, tone, and approach.
Unfortunately, politics has become about tone and style and approach. But I go back again to listen to what Kerry has to say, and I think the people in this country want someone of stature, someone who has experience, someone who has knowledge, and that's Kerry.
Okay, just quickly. Was the internet a big loser in this? We all thought the internet was going to turn out voters for Dean. Don, you were watching that closely. Is the internet a loser? Quickly?
No.
Okay, and that's what we got to go. We're out of here.
We agree.
It was never clear.
It's America's largest historical district, and it's fun for the entire family. Virginia City is where the West comes alive every day, from train rides to gunslingers. Your gang can explore mines and interesting museums, visit historic saloons, and do some great shopping. Virginia City is the ultimate in family entertainment, and it's very affordable. Come up and stay overnight in our hotels, motels, and RV park. Virginia City, the Wild West at its best. I ordered this beef broccoli here at Harris Buffet in Reno, and it was here in less than 60 seconds. What's up with that, Dave?
Sam, that's one of 20 dishes that we guarantee fast, guarantee fresh, made to order 7 days a week at Harris Reno's Buffet.
And I understand that just for this month, a 2-for-1 special just by showing your Nevada ID.
That's correct. We want to invite all of our Nevada residents to come down and experience this great buffet. We guarantee you a fresh, quality meal.
It's fast, it's delicious, and it's 2-for-1 at Harris Buffet.
Atlantis is cooking up a party. It's every diner's paradise. Toucan Charlie's Buffet and Grill, voted Reno's best buffet by locals year after year. Experience the Mongolian barbecue, new Asian station, and sumptuous exhibition stations filled with fresh entrees, salads, and desserts. Try the Friday night seafood buffet and Sunday champagne brunch. Atlantis.
When you sign up for Wells Fargo free checking, you get more than free checking. You get the freedom to bank when and where you want. Wells Fargo, the next stage.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by Charter Communication.
I just love it when we have politics like this.
Oh, I do too. And tonight, starting at 6 o'clock with the president's speech, we'll have full coverage here on News 4, including Ande and I and the pundit panels. Join us then.
Thank you for watching.